been such an important part of my life.
Whether complex or a one-off, your prescription process takes a dedicated pharmacy team, one that's successful and cares about your well-being like Curis. As a trusted partner in health, we offer the services that matter most to you. Make the switch to Curis, a pharmacy like no other.
Thursday was Media Day ahead of Game 1 of the World Series. With Shohei Ohtani and the LA Dodgers in town, media attention from around the world is now squarely focused on Toronto. The Blue Jays have picked rookie sensation Trey Savage to take the mound in Friday night's opening game. Eric Sorensen reports.
The Toronto Blue Jays are ready and waiting for Game 1 of the World Series against the iconic Los Angeles Dodgers, who've arrived in Toronto for Media Day, a team that has been to 23 World Series, 5 in the last 9 years. Are the Jays intimidated?
No. They have the best players in the world. But we got some pretty darn good players as well. So we're just going to play our game and enjoy it.
The series also features two global superstars, Shohei Ohtani and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Vladdy says the World Series isn't about the two of them.
It's Dodger against the Blues. Now Ohtani against Vladdy. It's a team against team.
It is the first World Series on Canadian soil in 32 years, a cross-border matchup in a year when Canadians are feeling especially patriotic. The players are aware of that.
I think it's really cool to have, Canada versus LA, such two supermarkets going at it.
The starting pitcher for the Jays is Trey Savage, who's had a phenomenal season from deep in the minor leagues to starting Game 1 of the World Series.
I try to treat it as if it's not as high pressure as it is mentally, but I know it's there. I know we represent this entire country. We're this country's team, so we want to go out there and do everything we can to make this country proud of us.
The Blue Jays have home field advantage because they had a better regular season record than the Dodgers. So, if you're planning, all the games are at 8 p.m. Eastern. The first two in Toronto, Friday night and Saturday night. The next three in Los Angeles, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And if necessary, they'll be back here in Toronto next Friday and Saturday. Potentially November baseball in Canada for the first time ever if it goes 7 games. How is the Jays' first-time World Series manager approaching the powerful Dodgers?
The one thing we cannot do is look over there and say that is Goliath. That is a beautiful baseball team that has its flaws and that has its really, really good strengths.
Some 6 million Canadian
Okay.
viewers are
Thanks for stopping and go.
Jays on Sportsnet.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Expect more
Then we open the line. If you have any mechanical question,
from global news.
feel free to ask. Thank you guys for stopping in. And this line is when, if you have any mechanical question, guys, you want to ask it right now. Don't be shy. Do you have any mechanic opening question, guys?
Unfortunately for the Prime Minister, he will be in Asia talking trade for the next week, so he won't be.
If you're not doing anything,
Still, he's predicting the Jays will win
feel free to ask me.
6 games. Rangers are practicing with the best. It wasn't that long ago. He took to the ice with his hometown Edmonton Oilers. Experience he called awesome.
How are we doing tonight?
One Blue Jays fan is combining her love of baseball and knitting to create a specialist sweater marking Charles' historic postseason run. That's right, the diehard supporter actually flew from the UK to watch this must-see matchup. Megan King has that story.
Yes.
This is like a big moment for the
Well,
Jays
Bucks,
and
how are you doing?
for me, so I had to come home.
What's up, what's up?
Traveled all the way from her home in the
Say-
United
say a
Kingdom
fa-
to show support to the
Thank you for
Blue
stopping by,
Jays.
my buddy.
And grown up in
Whoever you are, if you have any
Toronto,
mechanical question you want to ask,
she says the
feel free to ask me any question about mechanical wise, guys. You want to talk about something? Don't forget to like, share, and consider subscribing to the channel. And check out some of my video, guys. We need to watch ours, so just keep watching. And we have a lost dog we're looking for, guys, in Calgary area. So if you anybody know you have Jess, she's looking for dogs and she needs to find her dog. So if you already have any information, send me a message on my thing in the Calgary area. A dog named Ali or something like that. So let's see if we can work together, guys, to bring Ali home.
It represents like a hard point, and that was a hard point, and then
things got a little easier and then a little harder again, and then.
Look at my hair, guys.
Very beautiful, easy playing part during Game 6 and 7 at the Dome. So I'll go remember that. And I think that's really special.
She says knitting.
Guys, I'm gonna get some drink and come back.
Her emotions during stressful innings, dedicated to her craft, she kept up the project while in the Rogers Center for Games 6 and 7 of the ALCS.
Everybody was really excited. It felt good, you know. We had people on base, Archer at half, and him at bat, and then it just happened. I had the sweater in my hand. I was like, now I'm gonna get mascara on it because I was crying, and it was just so exciting. Everybody's cheering, and it was really, really incredible.
Courtney says she's planning to stick around as long as it takes to see the Jays take the World Series.
Oh, I am not going anywhere. Of course not. No, I'll just keep changing my ticket. I don't care. I'm going homeless for this.
Megan King, Global News.
Get ready, Blue Jays fans. This place was an absolute madhouse last night. Global News is on location capturing all the excitement and energy of every game in the finals. Join Global News as we cheer on Canada's team.
Okay, guys, don't forget to like, share, and consider subscribing, guys. If you have any question mechanically you want to ask, feel free to ask right now, and then go from there. And the teacher strike.
Their message to the government with back-to-work legislation likely to come next week. A Calgary restaurant targeted by repeated break-ins.
You can see the disappointment in their face, the anger when they come in and be like, oh, again, you know.
The thousands of dollars in damage and what's been caught on security footage at Bow Valley Ranch. Citywide rezoning in the crosshairs of the new city council.
I think there may be some solutions that we can find. That
don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. If you have any question, feel free to ask me right now. I'm right here for you. $20 coupon.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. You're watching Global News at 11. Nearly 4 weeks into a province-wide teachers' strike, Premier Danielle Smith says she's going to order teachers back to work. Today, the fall legislative session opened with emotions running high. Thousands of teachers gathered in Edmonton as the government laid out its goals and priorities for the fall sitting. As Heather Yorks West reports, the two sides are still far from reaching a deal.
The Premier says back-to-work legislation is coming next week. The nearly month-long strike has been hard on students, parents, and teachers. But the teachers gathered here say the prospect of being forced back to work is deeply disappointing. Wearing red with painted signs, teachers from across the province boarded Edmonton-bound buses Thursday morning, anxious to make their voices heard.
But my classroom conditions are just like every other teacher's classroom conditions, over full with 30 plus students per class.
Just take care of kids, take care of the class sizes. You know, it's worse than they're pretending it is.
51,000 teachers in Alberta's public, Catholic, and Francophone school systems have been off the job since October 6th, looking for better wages, smaller class sizes, and more support for students with complex needs. The Premier says unless the union agrees to have teachers return to class next week and begin enhanced mediation talks, back-to-work legislation will be introduced Monday.
They've got 72 hours to come in and find a different way to get the kids back in class and work with us on enhanced mediation. And barring that, this is kind of the last resort.
Single mom Sunny Petrarca says while she supports
teachers strike, man.
she'd welcome anything,
Alex,
including back-to-work
Ivan,
legislation into the
Solo,
schools.
my friend, how are you?
All I can hear from everyone.
How are you doing? How's the night going for you?
Want their kids back in class, whether it's, you know, one person.
How's the night going for you? I'll be back.
The other is irrelevant at this point for me. I just want my kid back in school.
Teachers say they're anxious to go back to work too, but not if classroom conditions aren't set to change.
Because then, like, all of this was for what? And I feel that a lot of people also feel that they've had lots of opportunities to come back and bargain in good faith, and they just have not done that. And so it's very frustrating, I think, for all of us.
The Alberta Teachers Association says the teachers are forced back to work next week.
Teachers have to go back to work.
But judging from the size of this crowd and the emotions on display, the
Crazy.
anger and frustration of teachers isn't something that can be legislated away. Heather, you're at
How we doing? How we doing?
All that noise outside the legislature was a major distraction from the business of the day. Lieutenant Governor Salma Lakhani reading the speech from the throne outlining the UCP government's agenda for the fall sitting of the legislature. The speech touted what the government is calling its diplomatic victory against the United States in the ongoing trade war, while acknowledging the economic challenges the province faces.
Legislature.
The province's goal to manage immigration, continue with the healthcare system restructuring, and stand up to federal policies the government deems a threat to Alberta's economic prosperity.
This government has driven back the anti-energy movement in our country and helped to turn the tide of national public opinion.
Today also
5G.
Denci's first appearance in the legislature as a sworn MLA, and UCP MLA Rick McIver's first appearance.
How are we
as
doing
Speaker.
today?
The government is expected to introduce at least 15 bills this sitting. A recall petition has been issued for Alberta's Education Minister and Calgary-Bow MLA Dimitros Nicolaides. This is the first recall petition application approved under the Recall Act, which the UCP government passed back in 2021. The petition's applicant, Jennifer Yeremy, ran for the Alberta Party in Calgary Northwest in the last provincial election. For the petition to be successful, she'll need to gather 16,006 signatures by January 21st from people who have lived in the Calgary-Bow riding for at least the last 3 months.
This government wrote this legislation, so now they're in the find-out stage. And certainly, Minister Nicolaides has done nothing to win the support or the confidence of Albertans.
In a statement, Nicolaides says the recall should not go ahead when the petition is about dissatisfaction with government policy and not over the members' core duties, which undermine stable governance and the electoral process. He goes on to say recalls should be reserved for breaches of public trust, ethical violations, or sustained dereliction of local duty. Critics are calling new provincial legislation reforms a violation of the Canada Health Act. The province is allowing Albertans to privately purchase diagnostic screening and testing services like MRIs, CT scans, and blood work. And as Sarah often reports, that's renewing a long-standing debate over potential impacts to the public system.
If there's one thing most Albertans agree on, it's that access to diagnostic health testing is far from ideal.
My experience with the health system has been if it's critical and you need help, it's there. It's when they don't know and when you're waiting, that's the most frustrating time.
The people that have to wait 2 years to get these CAT scans and MRIs, it's ridiculous.
According to the province, Calgarians reported the longest MRI wait of 426 days.
Wow.
While Edmontonians waited 268 days for CT scans.
We have one of the developed world's most expensive universal access healthcare systems, ranking third now in terms of health expenditures as a share of the economy. And yet we have some of the worst access to healthcare in the developed world.
And that has some seeking private options.
I booked it and had it in 2 days. It would be great if the government reimbursed that. Otherwise, I'll claim it on my income tax, right? It's my only other choice.
The province says its newest reforms mean all doctor-referred tests will now be covered and prioritized, no matter if they're booked in a public or private facility. Alberta Health will also reimburse the cost of any test that reveals a serious or critical condition.
Do you think that there will be a cost to this, not a savings?
Will the private route save the public route? Or who knows what's going to happen? But, you know, at my age, I'm not going to wait that long.
It's not going to improve the waits, it's not going to improve the service at all to move things to more private models.
Public health advocates suggest it's not just a point of controversy, but a possible violation of the Canada Health Act.
You know, we're already missing out on millions of dollars from the Canada Health Transfer because of diagnostics and us allowing Albertans to be charged out of pocket for medically insured services. So now what does it look like?
It's the essential care that has to be covered, and that is hospital services and doctor services. So in our reading of the Canada Health Act, preventative health care diagnostics is something that we can either pay for as a government or allow people to pay for it with themselves or through private insurance.
In a statement, Health Canada says Canadians should have equitable access to medically necessary care based on their medical needs, not their ability or willingness to pay. Adding they've reached out to the Alberta government to understand the various components and implications of the proposed changes. Sarah Hoffman, Global News.
The next city council doesn't officially take office until next week, but there are already questions around how they plan to handle one of the big campaign issues. The majority of the new council promised to repeal citywide rezoning. That includes Mayor-elect Jeremy Farkas. But it's unclear when they plan to push forward on that. City Hall reporter Adam McVicker has more.
A principal promise repealing citywide rezoning, and Calgary's mayor-elect says his pledge is a priority.
We're going to be starting the initial conversations about the mechanics of that with the incoming council, but it's very important to also focus on the replacement approach.
The contentious policy took effect in 2024 after an historic...
How are we doing today, guys?
...the city's base residential zoning
Saludos, my friend.
on a single property. But opponents are optimistic the new city council can undo that policy.
I'm hopeful that it's reset in an intelligent way that helps to address the housing issues in Calgary without destroying communities.
7 city councillors elected on Monday ran on a promise to repeal citywide rezoning.
That is still the first order of business to me. I want to see some blanket rezoning repealed.
Addressing the blanket zoning issue, it was a very, vocal and front-facing issue in this election.
But Nathaniel Schmidt, elected in Ward 8, says he's against repealing citywide rezoning altogether and hopes to find ways to amend the policy without starting from scratch.
We have to start with listening to each other as a council and listening to our constituents and find a path forward that is mutually beneficial, because we're going to grow to 2 million people together.
It may be some time before the process begins. Repeal would require a public advertising period before another public hearing and debate. Inner city developers say the policy is working to get homes built faster, hoping council can hammer out a different approach rather than the old way of doing things.
Well, one end of the spectrum where it did work, now we're on the other end of the spectrum and they're saying it doesn't work. Instead of repealing, why don't we find solutions?
The new council is here at City Hall for orientation over the next couple of days before they're officially sworn in on October 29th. Adam McVicker, Global News.
As Elections Calgary works to finalize results by noon on Friday, it has made some decisions about a couple of tight races. Unofficial results in Ward 12 show winner Mike Jamieson and runner-up Sarah Ferguson are separated by just 29 votes. The thin margin prompted Ferguson to request a recount of the official results. That recount began this morning. In Ward 9, runner-up Gargar also requested a preliminary recount, coming in just 267 votes shy of winner Harrison Clark. The returning officer has denied that request. Gargar taking to social media saying he respects the decision and extended congratulations to Councillor-elect Harrison Clark.
Donnie Milk. How are you? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you have any mechanical question you guys want to ask, feel free to ask right now. And let's get on with the live. Do you have anything else to say? We're just looking for some flights right now.
The dogs up with the J series. That was the #1 viewer photo that I'm getting right now. Showing off tomorrow, okay? Because today I'm showing off Jim Rivers' photo, Livingston Mountains. Why? Because how clear were the Rockies over the past few days? I was driving home from work one day and I was looking west. I thought, what an incredible place we live in. Okay, thank you so much to Jim for sending in that photo. It's Calgary weather at globalnews.ca. If you want to see your photo on our show, the 6 p.m. and the 11 p.m. as well. Here's a look at the almanac. That sun rising later and later. We're losing about 3 minutes per day. Sunset was at 6:27 for your Thursday. It'll be around 6:25 tomorrow. But look at that low. Normally it's -3, -6. Take out the minus. 6 degrees was our low. So well above seasonal. Next 24 hours, it'll be gusty, windy, southwesterly winds tomorrow afternoon, up to 40 kilometers per hour, and an overcast day. Here's the overcast day Friday, the exciting day, first day of the World Series. There's lots of sports going on this weekend. 18 degrees, so maybe you can watch that sitting outside wrapped up in a parka. I don't know. 14 degrees for Saturday, down to 11 for Sunday.
Calgary police say a suspicious death earlier this year in the city's northeast has now been deemed a homicide. Back in June, police were called to the 6300 block of Rumblehorn Drive for reports of an assault. Police say 52-year-old Cody Mitchell Morrow died from his injuries in hospital. Investigators now believe the victim died as a result of the assault. The homicide unit continues to investigate, and anyone with information is asked to call police or Crime Stoppers. Calgary police have seized a gun, drugs, and a radio jammer after a search of a Northeast residence. In March,
It's not my pet.
investigation into a 33-year-old Calgary man.
It's
Tuesday, a search was
Jessica pet, a pet named Ali. If you're in Calgary,
Edmonton Trail Northeast.
please leave a
They
comment.
seized a handgun, a variety of drugs, a high-frequency RF hammer, and a GPS tracking device. The man is
Yeah.
facing several drug and gun
So
charges,
the pet
as
named
well as
Ali.
2 charges for possession of a radio jammer. Calgary police say these jammers pose a threat to first responders as they can disrupt communications. Several people were injured following an explosion near the BMO Center. It happened while a crew was working inside a manhole shortly before 8 this morning at McLeod Trail and 14th Avenue Southeast.
When our crews got on scene, there was no active fire, but there was reports of 5 crew members working here. 2 were working underground and 3 topside. Everyone was able to self-evacuate out of the vault and walk towards the EHS crews.
McLeod Trail was shut down while emergency crews dealt with the situation, but it has since been reopened. Investigators with the fire department are now working to determine the origin and cause of the explosion. Workers at a Calgary restaurant, also designated a heritage site, are speaking out after
A pet named Ali, the dog. I don't have a picture, but
Security images show the same man on a number of occasions, not only breaking into the restaurant, but also causing thousands of dollars in damage. Alyssa Carpenter has those details.
Security footage shows one person breaking in at least 6 times here at Bow Valley Ranch restaurant, and the same man is believed responsible for a 7th break-in at Annie's coffee shop just down the way.
There was a lot of damage. There was from the broken glass, but also from the window. There's also broken glass on the
Duncan
table,
Mac say hi.
and cutlery on the floor.
The perpetrator got even more brazen during 5 subsequent break-ins here, entering from upstairs windows, vandalizing office space and office equipment, and also taking alcohol. Yeah, it's sad. It's a very sad thing. Whether they're daily visitors, show up weekly, or come every once in a while, visitors to the park are disappointed.
Isn't that the way things are going nowadays? People just don't care about anything. It's all about them. Maybe it's just 15 minutes of fame.
The Ranch restaurant has shared some images of the person believed responsible for the break-ins on social media and asked that anyone who recognizes the person in the photos
then they break in a lot of places.
information about the break-ins contact Calgary Police. Alyssa Carpenter, Global News.
A new plan to get tough on crime. What Ottawa is proposing to come down harder on repeat and violent offenders.
I've known these people my whole life. Put your guns down!
For many families just like theirs, the dream of home seems out of reach. At Habitat for Humanity Southern Alberta, we envision a future where every family has a safe and decent place to live. When you
Indigo,
support
Indigo.
Habitat for Humanity, you are bringing people together to build homes, communities, and hope. Together, we're building lasting change. Donate today at habitatsouthernab.ca. Whether complex or a one-off, your prescription process takes a dedicated pharmacy team, one that's accessible and cares about your well-being like Curis. As a trusted partner in health, we offer the services that matter most to you. Make the switch to Curis, a pharmacy like no other.
We see it. Severe weather is here. But so is Canada's insurance industry, fighting for stronger, more resilient communities, while helping you protect and rebuild the things we love.
Leon's Fall Into Comfort event is on now. Save up to 50% on select furniture and mattresses. Shop the best brands for less in appliances and electronics. Plus, get it delivered for free. Leon's, now that's comfortable.
Now Alberta government is pushing back on international agreements signed by Ottawa. New legislation will allow the province to decide if it will enforce certain agreements here in Alberta. Jasmine King reports.
The first thing on the agenda for the provincial government this fall session, Ottawa. The province introducing Bill 1, the International Agreements Act, allowing it to opt out of agreements signed by the federal government. The province looking to defend what Premier Danielle Smith calls Alberta's sovereignty within a united Canada. The Premier claims Alberta has lost out on tens of billions of dollars of investment because it has abided by these agreements. Smith says she has met with Prime Minister Mark Carney several times and has told him that Confederation works best when Ottawa respects the Constitution and provincial authority. The Premier points to the agreement, to climate agreements made at the COP28 conference as one example where her government had no say.
When the federal
Environment
minister wouldn't
Reset.
even tell us what the Canadian negotiating position was going into that.
Hey,
conference,
buddy,
even though all
did you
the
what?
discussions at the table had to
Reset
do
you?
with development
What do you
of
mean?
oil and gas resources.
Something that not a single Albertan is worried about
I
today.
don't get it.
This doesn't decrease the price of eggs, Premier. This doesn't make the cost of living any better.
Mhm.
This doesn't fix public education.
December to
This doesn't fix
December.
healthcare, and it isn't worth the paper it's printed on.
This type of legislation is not unheard of. Quebec introduced a similar act 25 years ago. Their
Did you
policies
reset?
do not apply until its provincial
Big
government
boss.
approves them. Jocelyn King, Global News.
The federal government tabled its bill to introduce sweeping reforms to the criminal code.
I'm trying to find some ticket here, buddy.
For repeat and violent offenders.
Kinda
First
hard.
announced last week, the move seems to address long-standing criticisms. The governing Liberals aren't tough on crime, but legal experts say they're skeptical over its intended impact to deter offenders. Jillian Piper explains why.
How we doing? How we doing? You guys have any mechanical question you want to ask? If you guys want to reset me, don't feel free to reset, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and consider subscribing to the channel, guys. We need the watch hours. So this is just a random.
Change the criminal law to ensure the bail system is not viewed as some get out of jail free card.
Those changes would introduce consecutive sentences for violent and repeat offenders, as well as impose a reverse onus on bail for some serious offenses, including auto thefts, some sexual assaults, and home invasions.
Bail reform is something we've been pushing, not only the RCMP, but the Canadian Association of Chiefs of Police. We're really happy with the direction it's taken.
The government committed to hiring 1,000 new RCMP officers to help enforce these changes, but the Justice Minister acknowledged that there is not enough data to know whether the measures will actually make Canadians any safer.
The provinces need to collect data about what kind of offenses are going through the bail system and are actually leading to a bail decision in one direction or another.
Some of those familiar with the legal system are not fully convinced this will deter crime and say Canada is already incarcerating more people than last year.
It is not that it is a catch and release situation and everybody's running around on bail. In fact, many people are denied bail that eventually later end up being found not guilty.
The $50 million question is, are we going to see an impact on the streets because of this legislation?
Guys, I can't typical.
But Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says the proposed bail reform does not go far enough.
Get rid of the principle of restraint, so that if you are a rampant offender and you're newly arrested, it should be presumed that you're automatically staying behind bars.
Many jails are already at capacity, and court backlogs mean it can take months before cases are heard. But the Justice Minister did not announce new measures to address those problems. Jillian Piper, Global News, Ottawa.
An Edmonton teenager who's already in custody because RCMP feared he would commit terrorism offenses has been hit with more terrorism and child pornography charges. The 15-year-old is currently in custody at the Edmonton Young Offenders Center and cannot be named. He was originally arrested earlier this year with RCMP alleging he was planning to commit offenses connected to the 764 network, an online gaming platform with associations to violent online predators. Today, after investigating his personal devices, RCMP revealed he's been charged with more terrorism offenses and possession of child pornography. He's scheduled to appear in court
Why
tomorrow.
do they get child pornography, man? These people crazy.
High-end stuff. A Calgary camera store robbed and damaged. The caught-on-camera crime and reward being offered by the owner to catch the thief.
Hospital Home Lottery.
That's
Early
crazy.
bird deadline is Thursday, October 30th. Win the $1 million Canmore condo early bird prize. A stunning 2-bedroom Spring Creek condo with $25,000 cash. Retreat to the Rockies year-round and love the panoramic views from your expansive terrace in the heart of Canmore. Plus, be in to win the $3.3 million grand prize show home. Hurry, early bird deadline is Thursday, October 30th. CalgaryHospitalHomeLottery.com.
Jackson Triggs Cabernet Sauvignon wins on taste. More wine drinkers prefer the taste of Jackson Triggs. A smooth, flavorful, and delicious experience in every glass.
Welcome, welcome.
You can taste the GT difference. Children believe
Nonsense.
there's
I don't
magic
understand that.
in discovery. Going faster is better. And heroes are real. We believe that too. This global program is brought to you in part by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers. If you've been injured in an accident, go to jameshbrown.com.
Now, more than ever, it's time to shop Canadian. Support your local businesses that create jobs and invest in our communities.
I see
Sponsored
that.
by Global Calgary, proudly Canadian.
Bother you.
Joel is back for another
What's
look
bothering
at
me?
the weather, and I'll say it again. A beautiful day outside.
It
And looks
seems
like
to
tomorrow
bother
as
you.
well.
That's your name?
Yeah.
Even warmer, overcast, warmer. I'll never get tired of
That's
saying
crazy.
It's a beautiful day outside because we do live in an area where we know what's coming, so let's just enjoy this moment as it lasts. This is a look at this afternoon out at our airport. As you can see, pretty bluebird. We have a mix of sun and cloud. This is just moving a little too quickly for us to really capture the cloud. Tomorrow, much more overcast, but
22.
those southerly winds, they're going to bring the heat. Okay, taking a look at the highs that we hit for our Thursday, 17 in Okotoks. I had a couple of opportunities to be out and about, and I could feel the sun on my face, and it almost felt like it could burn. It was that warm outside. Today, as we expand that look, this was the case for most of Alberta, with the exception of western Alberta, right along the border with BC, 11 in Jasper and Banff. Now, overnight, no.
How old am I? I'm old enough.
6 degrees, pretty pleasant. One
How old do you
in
think?
Banff, that drops below zero.
About 50, 60?
Jasper, 2 degrees, and then 1 in Grand Prairie as well. High level has been fairly cool, though they did have a warm day for Thursday. Tomorrow, here's a look at that. 18 degrees and overcast, 18 in Claresholm, windy in the pass. It'll be windy for us as well, just not quite as windy as the southwesterly corner, and that is due to a front moving through from BC. Here's a look at the thermal cast, so you know when you see yellow, it's a good sign in terms of heat. Southern Saskatchewan getting a lot of heat through Sunday. Our weather pattern will change, I will warn you. So we are warming up into our weekend, and then we do have a cooling trend that impacts us Sunday into Monday, and then we pop back up again. Here's a look at the next 3 days in and around our region. Maybe you're heading out to go for a hike in the Rocky Mountains. It's 12 degrees there tomorrow, mix of sun and cloud. And here's a look exactly what I was saying here. So warm tomorrow, warm on Saturday, 14, getting closer to that seasonal, and then it cools down a little bit, just to seasonal though, 8 degrees on your Tuesday, and then back into the double digits by mid next week.
All right, thanks, Joel.
Sky Tracker Weather is brought to you by Curis Pharmacy. Visit curisrx.ca.
I look 20 years old. I'm not 20 years old. I wish.
The countdown is on to Game 1 of the World Series. Now the Blue Jays are getting set before heading on to baseball's biggest stage.
At InsureLine, our brokers aren't stuck in a call center reading off scripts. We're working in street-front offices in communities across Canada, just like yours.
We start by getting to know your coverage needs. Then we compare options from a wide range of providers to find the best deal.
Already have insurance? No problem. We'll review it, check if you're overinsured, underinsured, They're just paying too much. We're 100% Canadian, we're local, and we're here for you. Find an InsureLine office near you at insureline.com.
Hi, I'm Darcy Walker, president of the BRIC. Our customers are the heart and soul of our company.
I'm from Canada. I'm in Canada.
Finance offer of the year.
Where are you from?
Takes 6 years to pay with no interest. The right to saving you more.
Some destinations you find on a map. Others you discover in unforgettable moments. Moments that go beyond the everyday. Alberta Valley. This is where movement transforms into art. Where passion rises. Where artistry becomes legacy. Where dance unites us. Alberta Valley. Your destination for extraordinary.
Oh. Yeah, this is crazy. I know.
Resort and Casino presents Cash Quest. Roll the giant dice and set out on an epic journey.
I don't know what prison.
Every Wednesday and Thursday night until November 13th. Conditions apply. Visit GreenEagleResortAndCasino.ca for details.
You're watching Global News in 11.
Welcome back. Here are some of tonight's top stories. Premier Danielle Smith says if no deal is reached to end a province-wide teacher strike, her government will introduce a bill Monday to order teachers back to work. Teachers and their supporters rallied outside the legislature for $75 million. It ran on several U.S. networks, including Fox,
All right, guys.
NBC, and Comcast. Premier Doug Ford said, quote, the Reagan Republicans are going to be fighting MAGA. Let's hope the Reagan Republicans win. Trump's response comes after Prime Minister Mark Carney said he's hoping to double Canadian exports to countries outside the U.S. because of Trump's tariff threats. Canada Post is in financial peril, bleeding millions each day and facing what the government calls an existential crisis. Canada's Public Services Minister told MPs in a committee today the Crown Corporation is effectively insolvent, warning immediate action is needed to keep it alive.
In order for Canada Post to be competitive in parcel business, it needs to be more agile, more flexible, and there are some things in which we as a government can do, and by that I mean lifting the rural moratorium, lifting the moratorium on community mailboxes, which is what we're doing, changing the delivery standard, which we are doing, changing the way we increase the stamp rate in this country, but there are things on which we don't have power, and that would be the collective agreements, and that has to be achieved at the bargaining table.
Ottawa is lifting a 30-year moratorium on rural post offices and expanding community mailboxes to 4 million more addresses. Lightbound says the moves could save hundreds of millions of dollars a year and help Canada Post compete in the parcel delivery market, giving the Crown Corporation 45 days to present its implementation plan to the federal government. The federal government, the City of Calgary, and Boeing have announced significant investments to help grow Calgary's and Alberta's aerospace.
You guys said coming from a prison. That's crazy. Alright, guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I have to go to bed. I gotta get up to do some scrap. And hope you guys, if you have any information about the dog, play me a comment. Don't forget, don't be shy. And I'll catch you on the next one, guys. I love you guys, and always remember, I'm gonna take a little relax before I go into bed. So, thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one, and we get the dog today or tomorrow. It will come back, I promise. Okay. I love you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one, guys. I'm out.
Just the excitement